Alright, yeah, and welcome back to some more Magic Arena. Today, we're gonna go back into the historic Brawl area and play with a deck that we tried out for the first time on stream. So that just means I'm going to include a couple of stream highlights, but I'm also going to put some original content in for you guys who actually did turn up for the Twitch stream. Today we're going to be playing around with Vadrik, an Izzet commander that plays very much so like Brawl, which makes me hesitate to put this this commander into the meta game, but here we are. Somebody's got to do it. Vadrik, Astral, Archmage, 3 mana 1/2. If it's neither night nor day, it becomes day as Vadrik enters the battlefield. Instant and sorcery spells cost X less to cast, where X is Vadrik's power. So it's basically a Goblin Electromancer when it first enters the field. And then whenever day becomes night or night becomes day, you put a counter on Vadrik. So if a player casts 2 spells during their turn, it goes from night to day. If a player casts no spells during their turn, it goes from day to night. So we basically choose to play based off of that. So we can make it flip to night immediately by just doing nothing on our turn and holding up all of our counter magic. And then we can make it flip back to day by making our opponent enter like a counter war or something like that. So if we counter their spell and they do something else, that's their second spell, it's flipping Vadrik, and then all is well with the world. So let's talk about the list. As I said, it kind of plays like Brawl. Brawl is in this list. He's in the 99. It's probably one of the few places you'll ever see me play this card because I think it's an absolute mistake of a card. But as a one-of in this list, it's kind of be doing the deck a disservice by not running it. So here it is. 2 mana 1/3, instant and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast, and whenever a spell or ability you control counters a spell, you may draw a card, and if you do, discard a card. So that helps us sort out our hand a little bit and work on it. So the one kind of upside of Vadrik over Brawl is that Vadrik is red, so we actually get access to red burn spells. So Brawl's issue is that it basically only has counters and bounce, which, you know, goes a long way. That certainly isn't necessarily a bad thing in terms of Brawl's power level, but in most blue commander power levels, it is certainly a weakness to be exploited. So Vadrik's hopefully going to counter that somewhat, and we're going to tweak our deck in such a way where the Brawl's draw and discard isn't missed so much. So we've got a fair bit of counter magic in here for the Brawl kind of style of deck, and then we've also got lots of card draw as well, so we can keep fueled up, which is what Brawl really loves doing. So let's talk about a couple of special cards in this list, shall we? Some digital only cards in here do a lot of work for us, and you probably see them today, actually. Tome of the Infinite. I am consistently impressed by this card. 3 mana legendary artifact. You pay 1 blue to conjure a random card from Tome of the Infinite's Infinite Spellbook and put it into your hand. And then you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast this spell. I might, depending on which matches I show in today's video, I might mention that these spells should be free, and that's not the case because they're actually colored pips. And it's just basically Arena's UI that's throwing me off. So these aren't free, but 1 mana spells every single turn. You could either get a Swords to Plowshares as removal, you can get a Light of Hope as enchantment removal, which is something that we kind of, you know, don't do all that well with. Ponder is probably one of our bigger hitters. Look at the top 3, put them back in any order. You can shuffle and then draw. Force Spike, counter unless you pay 1. We actually have Dwari's Disruption and Censor in the deck, so having Force Spike in here as just a cheaper version of both of those spells is perfectly acceptable. Dark Ritual helps us pay for command attacks and get down big spells, which we've got a fair few of. Duress to help force us through with some good stuff. Lightning Bolt to kill our opponent and their opponent's creatures. Salt Strobe to give double strike is not irrelevant, considering Vadrik likes to get slowly bigger over time, although I wouldn't rely on that game plan so much, which is the reason why we've built the deck in the way that we have, is lots of cheap spells. The 2-drop slot basically is the main focus of the deck. Giant Growth, actually huge. 1 mana to give +3/+3. If you put this on Vadrik, then your next spells are 3 cost reduced, which is useful. And then Fog, prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn, means that we don't have to block, because we don't have that many creatures. In fact, how many creatures do we have? 8. 8 in total, and I feel like all of them provide a spell-based upside. We've got like Galazeth Prismari, which again plays into that kind of Izzet control tempo style of game plan. We got Torrential Gearhulk that allows us to flashback instant spells. One of the big ones we can flashback is something like Magma Opus, which with Vadrik out, we're going to be cost reducing as well. So if we can get Vadrik's power to 6, then Magma Opus costs 2 mana to do this effect, which is kind of insane. Electromancer, as we've mentioned, is basically Vadrik's ability in a nutshell. We've also got the new Adversary, this one right here. It's basically Goblin Dark Dwellers. You pay 2 and then you get yourself a 2/2 with haste, but then you can pay 3 when it enters to put a counter on it and then cast an instant or sorcery spell with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard without paying for it. And then you can do that any number of times as well, so you can get multiple 3 or less cards. We've got quite a lot of them in the deck. We do also have Goblin Dark Dwellers in here, so, you know, we do like that effect. We want to see it quite a fair bit. And that might be it for creatures. I can't remember. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. The rest of the deck, though, is going to tempo. Oh, there's one Dragon's Rage Channeler in here, because reasons. Oh, and an Archmage Emeritus. I just don't remember my deck, apparently. 4 mana 2/2, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, draw a card. Our entire deck's basically instant and sorcery, so that's just a free roll. Yeah, let's talk about some of the other digital-only cards. Ethereal Grasp, you're going to see do a lot of work in today's video. Again, this is a pretty overpowered one, to be honest. It taps a creature, and then perpetually gives the ability of this creature doesn't untap during its untap step, and pay 8 to untap this creature. Perpetual means that you can hit your opponent's commander with this, and that will mean that even in the command zone, it still has this ability. So once it enters untapped, but once it taps, it is kind of out of commission. So that can be really backbreaking for a lot of commanders. Not so much for all of them, but, you know, still enough for us to get a severe advantage. We've got Sarkhan's Scorn as well. I actually really like this one. 3 mana instant, deals damage equal to the number of turns you have begun to target creature or planeswalker. So the longer the game goes, the more powerful this effect becomes. It can knock out huge planeswalkers in the late game. So, you know, it's a free roll. And it's 2 mana if you've got a Vadrik or any of the other cost reducers out in play. What else have we got that's really, really cool? We've got a lot of extra turn spells. We've got the Time Warp, we've got the Khan's Temporal Sundering, and we've got the Alrund's Epiphany. For anyone who's been playing Standard, you'll know that extra turn spells are very powerful, and the top decks are actually running Galvanic Iteration, and so are we. 2 mana whenever you cast your next instant or sorcery spell, copy that spell, and you may choose new targets for the copy. So pay 2 for this, pay, 4 for this off Vadrik. We get 2 extra turns. We've got Double Vision in here, which is just a wonderful card. I believe I will probably show you a game where this is useful. 5 mana enchantment. Whenever you cast your first instant and sorcery spell each turn, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. So it copies once on our turn, once on our opponent's turn. So again, it pays to have lots of instants and sorceries in our deck. Other than that, I think the deck should basically speak for itself. Lots of removal, Cathartic Pyres, Dragonfires, lots of counter spells. We got Excludes, we got Rewinds, Dismiss. This one's a new one. Counter Draw, beautiful. 3 mana counter draw. What more to love? Deluge is an interesting one. This will be the last thing I talk about. It's 4 mana instant to look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the amount of mana spent to cast this spell. Put 2 of them into your hand, the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. This is one of the few kind of nombo cards in the deck, but if you played this in Standard, you'll know that it's very good. And I think that even though it is a nombo with Vadrik, it is still worth playing. The reason why it's a nombo is because if it is cost reduced, you look at less cards from the Deluge. But I think if Vadrik isn't out, then you want to have Memory Deluge in your hand, ready to cast. And if he is, then you're going to look at 3 cards instead of 4, and still draw 2. It's still a draw 2 as a worst case scenario with Flashback that gets a little bit of cost reduction there. I think it's still worth it, regardless of the fact that Vadrik might not do what you need it to do. And yeah, this deck's pretty sweet. It's not the most powerful deck, but I think you could probably tweak it in such a way where it becomes extremely overpowered. But I don't know. It's got a lot of janky cards in here for me that I really just enjoy and can't bring myself to cut. So we'll leave it a bit of a medium tier commander for now. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy. If you do, hit that like button, subscribe, and let's get to it. This video is brought to you by the generous support of our wonderful patrons and channel members that you see here. If you'd like to support the channel and get access to cool content like sneak peeks, bonus videos, polls on future content, or access to a personal deck critique from myself every month, then hit the join button down below, or check out the Patreon link in the description. With all that said, let's get into the gameplay. Okay, this hand is a 2-tap lander, so I think that means it's too slow for me. Otherwise, I think the hand is just bad anyway. So, moving on. This is a counter hand with no blue mana. What is wrong with this deck today? I can Field of Ruin most likely, but yeah, I think I'm not going to be afraid to go down to 6 and see another hand with no blue mana. Has an Arcane Signet, though. Let's put 1,000 Year Storm to the bottom. Probably dead before I can cast that. Okay. Command Tower, Diagraph Ghoul. That bodes well for us. Anyone who plays Diagraph Ghoul is looking to lose. Alright, Judith the Scourge Diva. 3 mana, 2/2, other creatures you control get +1/+0, and whenever another non-token creature you control dies, Judith deals 1 damage to any target. It's pretty cute. We're going to go with Midnight Clock here, and then hold open Essence Scatter for Judith. Otherwise, I might just go for the Magma Opus. Discard, so we've got Practical Research mana. Perhaps. What does this thing do? It's got an Echo of discard a card. Alright, so they just lost a card getting that thing into play. So I would love... Sorry about that. To draw a sweeper. Soul Seer. It's not a sweeper. Let's go Vadrik. Soulseer, the Rakdos headliner. We'll wait on it though, because you never know what your opponents might end up playing. That make me want to target something different. They don't here, so we're going to go boop. I should have lined up blocks actually, right? Because the Firebrand's like almost certainly just going to die here. Well, they got the Village Rites on that, and then Firebrand works there. Yeah, I'm opening up our opponent to, like, kind of realize that they were going to lose. Grim Wanderer, okay. Uzmari Command. So this is instant speed. I can make it go to Night, so it costs 1 less. Which I think is worth doing. Now it's 3 mana, I can draw 4 and try and find a removal spell for the Grim Wanderer. Maybe even a counter spell for Judith. I'll make that decision when they line that type of move up. Knight of Malice has no hexproof from me. And into the red zone. Alright. Yeah, I think it's worth a peek. Just making sure it uses all my colorless. There's a Frostbite. I only have 2 snow mana. So this is not going to work for me. Alright. Let's get rid of Shatterskull Smashing then. Came so close to, like, a very expensive Fist of the Flame that would give us an extremely powerful Vadrik into cheap Magma Opus. But it wasn't meant to be. I mean, you could Prismari Command and Frostbite. It just doesn't feel worth it. But I guess maybe I could do everyone else, though. I could do 2 damage Sheer Treasure. And off the treasure, I could kill the Diagraph Ghoul. Or I could wait on it. Because if I Field of Ruin... No, I want to encourage them to play another spell. Because that then flips my Vadrik. There we go. Another spell has been flipped. No blocks. Becomes daytime. Double vision. Right, well I have a 5-mana Magma Opus, and I'm certainly taking it. It's going to be a 4-mana Magma Opus, actually. Because I'm not going to play anything here. Got a 4-5 now. They need some hard removal at this point. Got a Bones. Prankster. Sure. Just getting in with the... That's a very odd attack. Very odd indeed, because this is free. And then I can do this. 3 damage here. 1 damage here. Tap this. Tap that. Yeah, practically just swept their board. Appreciate that, opponent. That's a huge pickup. Yeah, I mean, the Prankster's doing some work. There's no doubt about that. Daytime. Cost reduction. I think we're just going to go for this. That draws a couple cards. Then we can Valakut's Awakening. Throw all of this back. That means we've drawn a lot of cards at this point. I could Mizzix's Mastery, or I could Fist the Flame to get +1/+0 for each card I've drawn. I don't know if it's 25, though. How many cards have I drawn? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I drew 14 cards, something like that. Is it around 14 cards? Ugh, I don't know. We'll find out soon enough. 17. Okay, not quite enough. But maybe enough to close out the game next turn. I just need this Prankster to not kill me. Is that me dead? That's me dead, I think. Annoyingly. Because I go, boop. Is it another creature dying? It is another creature dying. Okay, we're actually alive, and we might have just won. Because we get to swing... and win the game. Wow. Wow. Okay. Yeah, so I was going to swing out and then I was going to crackle with power. We've got 5 cost reduction here, so that's worth x2, x3 I can do. So 15 damage divided across 3 different targets. Seems good. Seems good to me. On to the next one. Alright, opponent goes first, and they're playing My Creatures Can't Be Countered .commander. It's got some sweepers, no red mana. I'm going to hit the free mull on this one. Okay. This one could be worse. It's basically a 3-lander. Get Dragon's Rage Channeler down on 1. That's what I want to do, and then can do some Cathartic Pyre or something like that. This goes from 3 up to 4, most likely. And there's Paradise Druid I can't interact with. Lots of you can't interact with cards. Alright, well, if they go for the Domri though... Nope, never mind. I was gonna say Domri forces them to tap their Paradise Druid, but they have the land as well. Alright, so what we're going to do then is go for, I guess, Arcane Infusion. That might be... Yeah. That seems like the thing I want to do. Scorching Dragonfire. It's going to be relevant. More relevant than these, I would say. Alright, so this is a 1-2. Our opponent can immediately have Paradise Druid fight Vadrik, so that's not a line we can take. We just have to pass the turn here, I think. I might just go Valakut's Awakening and throw a load of this hand back. Because these cards are getting progressively worse as time goes on. There's a Robber of the Rich. We're going to say fine. I think our opponent's trying to bait out counter magic. Can help yourself to one of my cards. I can't imagine yet that you get anything good for that, so it's not really worth fighting over. I can kill it on the end step. An X2. Alright. I can get excluded, and got plenty of lands. Put that in the graveyard. Get a Galazeth into a Frostbite. Galazeth into Frostbite seems okay. Get rid of this Paradise Druid. Dark Dwellers. I'm going to keep that. Dark Dwellers can be an Arcane Infusion, it could be another Frostbite. Could be anything I put into the yard with Cathartic Pyre. There's Domri. And then Lava Coil, Galazeth. Okay. Well, if they attack with Robber of the Rich, they're going to lose their Domri. I just lost my Dark Dwellers, though. That's really not great for me. And they're going to minus. Alright, I think I'm going to go Vadrik here, which allows me to hold up and dismiss. Counter draw for 3 mana. Seems reasonable. Although the creatures can't be countered, the removal certainly can. Unless it's creature-based removal. And in which case, that's going to kind of sting a little bit. Let's see if they go for fight. They do. So we're going to have to double fight over this. Boop. Not ideal, but it is what it is. Blitz of the Thunder Raptor. So I can make it go night to cost reduce. I'm just going to kill Domri with my spells, so I can just hold back here. So, counter, that's cost reduction. This is dead Domri.
Alright, I'll just see myself out then.
And now let's see what they want to do. I've got a counter draw for 2 mana. Questing Beast, that's worth a counter draw to me. That's one of their spells. If they play another one, they go and make it daytime. They don't. Alright, I'm gonna turn this Snow-Covered Island and Valakut into 2 other hopefully useful cards. Crackle with Power. Alright, let's start with Arcane Infusion. Got a Rewind. I like Rewind. State of My Scry. There is an island in there. So I'm just going to play this island. And pass the turn. Escape to the Wilds. We say nope. Didn't say the magic word. They'd have to go land something else for that to be relevant. Hello, hello, hello. Let's see now. How much damage can I do with this? 2 mana for the iteration. Plus the 2 mana for the crackle. 1, 2, 3. So I could do 5 times 1 to 2 different targets, basically. If I waited a turn, I could maybe get it a little bit bigger. That's a tough choice, because if they play Domri, I'll lose my Vadrik. But I don't think I want to fire off this Crackle with Power for nothing. Attacks through. Yeah, so they can Goblin Dart Dwellers me. I should have blocked, actually, shouldn't I, if they were going to do that. I hate matchups where our opponent's commander hard counters my own. It's so bad. Alright. Chemisters. Yeah, now they've got Domri minus kill Vadrik, so that's not a line I can take anymore. Double vision, disallow. Okay. We're getting somewhere. We are now arriving at an interesting position. We're going to take 6. Can only do that a few more turns. Can't really allow anything to add to this board, including my opponent's commander. Targ Nah. I hate it. If I drew a land, I wouldn't need to hate it as much. Thank you. What am I putting in the hand? Or on top, sorry. Could just take the counter spell. I kind of prefer just to take some removal, though. Let's put Cathartic Pyre on top or something like that. So now I could do Galvanic Iteration. Oh, but I don't have triple red. Oh my god, I'm so bad at this game. So this has to be X2. This one. And this one. $10 damage to these two. See if they've got snakeskin veils and things like that. If they do, I lose. Okay. Dodge snakeskin veils. There's Domri. So this actually deals 6 damage. But I don't have triple red. Oh my god. Right. So I have to iteration. Cathartic Pyre, 3 damage. This one, copy. This one. Leave counter plus chemisters. This is a frustrating matchup, to say the least. I imagine on both ends, to be honest. They don't want to be dealing with counter magic, and my counter magic doesn't work half the time. Hasty Anax, probably, right? We'll see. Is it hasty? Is it going to win them the game? Not just yet. Alright, I'm getting rid of this disallow. There's no way it's actually useful. Electro Dominance. And nothing else of note. Okay. So I need to be able to do 3 damage. Can I do 3 damage and play this? Of course not, because I only have 2 red sources. Kill me. I could do an X5 and put double vision into play. So I think that's what I'm doing. And it goes land. Storm the festival. You've got yourself a deal. Let's hope they hit 2 lands here. Of course not. I need a sweeper anyway, so it's worth just looking what they hit, even though it adds devotion to Anax, because Anax is just going to kill me anyway. Right, so we go X5 Anax. Let's do X7, just to be on the safe side. Might as well, right? Got nothing else to do. Put double vision into play. They get loads of satyrs.
They can only punish you if they catch you.
Bounty of the Deep. Alright, so this wording. If you have no lands in hand, seek a land and a non-land. Otherwise, 2 non-lands. Alright, so I have a land, so you will give me 4 non-land cards. And none of them were the cards that I needed. Although Soul Seer will keep me alive. And potentially Tome of the Infinite can help me down the line. Right. I guess I could... Iteration. This gets copied twice. When you cast your next instant and sorcery spell, copy that. So that means I've got 3 copies of Soul Seer. Play this tapped. I have the red mana for it. Oh dear. Tome of the Infinite can potentially get me loads of fogs. We've already gotten rid of, like, Questing Beast. Opponent's going to go to combat. If they have, like, you know, Embercleave, no matter when I do this, it's going to bite me in the ass. So, let's make 3 copies of Soul Seer. You can shot hit the Torbran. So Torbran, 2 more copies. Hit the Augur, and then one of the Satyr tokens. And I'm dead. Okay. You know what? As frustrating as that was, you get a GG for that. Very annoying. I feel like we got so close to winning. We could have gone down Tome of the Infinite and tried to RNGesus our way into a fog. That doesn't keep us alive for very long. But, you know. In fact, it wouldn't have kept us alive at all because we would have taken that line and then our opponent would have stomped, which actually prevents fog from working. So I think we took the right line in hindsight. But maybe... without knowing hindsight, maybe Tome of the Infinite was the better line to take as well. It's hard to say. I don't think we could have made room for Syncopate to pay for all of this. So, yeah, I mean, it's just a bad matchup all around. Every time you see Domri, I've seen it once before, and it was a bad matchup then, and yeah, it's a bad matchup now as well. So, yeah, look out for Domri, and scoop if you don't feel like losing. On to the next one. Oh boy, is this one going to be unpleasant. 3 mana I need for this hand to function on the play. Got red and blue. I think I'll keep it. On the draw, I probably would ship it, but I think because I have the advantage of going first, I get to destroy my opponent's things and force our opponent to react. I think this might be a little bit better. If I can get that Tome of the Infinite down, I'm going to be very happy. Our opponent is Zareth San, the Trickster, 5 mana 4/4. And when it deals combat damage, it reanimates a permanent from your opponent's graveyard. We're going to get the Behold the Multiverse into the Vital Zone, so we can at least cast it next turn. If we don't need to use the Pio, and we miss our land drops, then we could use the Behold for that. I'm getting Tome underneath our opponent's cards here. This card is going to be stupidly good. Alright, so let's see. Are you going to be the Dimir control, or are you going to be rogues? That's the real question. Mystic Sanctuary says to me you're going to be like rogues. So I'm not getting Vadrik down. Vadrik doesn't do anything except for die. You don't really want to get him down until you can protect him, similar to how you would play something like Galazeth. I do want to make my land drop. But I don't want it to get negated and then our opponent slam down something good. But I don't think I can afford to not do this. Best foot forward and all that. I don't need Frostbite. Exclude's nice, but I need lands. Oof. Okay. Lands very much not secured. The lands continue to evade me. Alright, well, looks like we're discarding to hand size here. Let's discard... That's a tough one. What do I discard? I like Ethereal Grasp. Emeritus, I guess, just dies. It's cute, but I will be getting down Vadrik before I get down Emeritus. If our opponent just passes here, I can take a chance at a Ponder with the Tome. There's Zarathan. Got a Salt Strobe. Okay. Where are my lands? What is going on? This is insane. Alright. I'm gonna tap you and give you Perpetual. Doesn't untap. Get rid of a Salt Strobe. Alright, so that actually continues even in their command zone. Tell me this hits Planeswalkers. Deals damage. Creature or Planeswalker. Boom. Alright. We missed a land drop again. How many land drops have we missed now? Acquiring minds want to know. I'm getting rid of Liliana here, though. While our opponent's tapped out. Opponent can go land, untap Zarathan, hit me, and then get Archmage Emeritus. But they got a tap land, so no biggie there. Land, please. I am due one. Oh! There is a magic god. Alright. So if they took the entire turn to untap Zarathan, I could kill it. I can go Prismari Command, 2 damage, Treasure. Cathartic Pyre, kill it. Take 2. Opponent's going to pass. So I am going to... I think Tome. And then maybe Cycle Suns. Giant Growth. It gives you discard fodder. So one thing I'll say about Tome is even when it gives you garbage, it means that you can basically just discard it to Prismari Command. So you're almost drawing a card anyway. Like, this discard to hand size really doesn't affect me at all. I need to be aware that Zarathan is untapping here. So there he goes. So 2 damage, Treasure. And then 3 damage, kill. Back to the command zone with Yi. I've got a Treasure, so I can do Tome stuff if I want to. Tap land for our opponent. I feel like I've basically taken our opponent's commander out of commission for the rest of the game. While they do have a flash, it doesn't enter tapped. It just doesn't untap, so they get like 1 use out of it, and then it's just completely useless all over again. I think I'll untap and keep my Treasure. What about a Brawl? It's 1 mana short of Sublime Epiphany to fight over it, so I think I don't care about Brawl here. I'll just go for Gravenlaw. Alright. Counter that, bounce the zombie, draw a card. Seems like a good deal. Opponent does get to play whatever they want here. I can potentially hit Swords to Plowshares with Tome of the Infinite. Maybe even take an extra turn, I'm not quite sure. There's Zarathan again. So I'm going to go land. Vadrik. Extra turn. Bouncing Zarathan back to their hand. Okay, then I get to untap. Gotten a Braid. So they're going to be able to play Zareth for 5. 3, 4, 5. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Syncopate needs to pay for. I can go Brawl here. Oh, baby. Completely locked out. Yeah, some of these digital-only cards are quite absurd for Brawl. While they're not, like, completely shutting them off with things like Davriel's Withering, making this thing untap for 8 mana is kind of stupid. But yeah, I think I was just going to go for Brawl there, and then I've got a 2 cost reduction, so that is 4, 5, 6. So I think I can Syncopate with Brawl and probably hit anything else as well along the way. And then I get to draw and discard with Brawl, our opponent cries, then I Graven Law, do my thing. Yeah, pretty good spot all around. I thought this game was going to be miserable, but it wasn't miserable for me. It certainly was for our opponent, though. On to the next one. We go first, and our hand is quite good. Quite good. We're going to take it. We've got the Electromancer we can get down early, which is going to cost reduce our Tail's End and our Glimmer of Genius, which gives us things to do. Potentially even lines up a situation where we get to play Vadrik as well and keep one of these open. Our opponent's on Garuda Doom of Depths, which is a 6 mana 6/6. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent mills, or each player, sorry, mills 4 cards, and then you put a creature card with an even mana value from among the milled cards onto the battlefield under your control. It's pretty good. Our opponent had a Bloodchief's Thirst for our Electromancer, which complicates things somewhat. I think it doesn't complicate things enough, though. We're just going to go with the Midnight Clock here. Try and set up the similar scenario we had with the Electromancer, where we play Vadrik and have Tail's End open. It's not the best protection counter, but it'll do kind of thing, you know? Our opponent might potentially do nothing next turn as well, which will give us a little bit of a boost. Dismiss is absolutely awesome. I think even without Vadrik, I would like that card. So let's hope that our opponent has an answer to Vadrik that gets censored, or it's a legendary spell, one or the other. Definitely taking a bit of a risk throwing Vadrik out in this exact spot. But as we said, if our opponent does absolutely nothing, we get the cost reduction. And that's going to mean a lot for us. So now we have a 2 mana counter. We could Glimmer. If we Glimmered, we'd have 3 mana. I'd have to use one of my blue. I don't see a world where I cast 2 spells this turn, so let's just hit our opponent for 2. Glimmer on their turn. If I have to counter, then I can also Glimmer and turn Night to Day. I think that's how that works anyway. Cycled and Neutralize. They got their land. Now they're just going to pass. Are we at the point where I would like to cycle Censor? I don't think so. We got this Arcane Infusion. And it still allows me to hold up and dismiss. Disdainful Stroke. That's a pretty good one. I'm definitely not going to expose my commander here. Let me just double check. If a player casts at least 2 spells during their own turn. Yeah, so I have to cast the 2 spells on my turn. Temporal Sundering. Yeah, I mean, I'm in no rush. I'm just gonna pass the turn. I'm gonna play this just like you would a Brawl deck. Hold up and all my counter magic. And the moment they decide to play into this is the time where I will maybe go off and do some interesting things. I don't want to bounce Mazemind Tome. because it's only card advantage for one more turn. If I bounce it, then that stops being the case. Okay, so you're going to go Chromatic Lantern. Our opponent has definitely struggled on mana. So I'm going to go Dismiss here. If they go Negate, I've got the Sensor. Good, good, good. I might make them explode. I might consider scooping after this happens. I get to draw, I get a land, beautiful. They get a scry if they want it. Otherwise, we get to keep going. We're almost at a midnight clock flip as well, which is nice. It is daytime as well, because they tried to fight over it. So if I waited, I would make it nighttime. I would make Khan's Temporal Sundering cost 2. So I think I will actually just pass the turn, hit our opponent a little bit here. Vadrik's getting more and more powerful as time goes on. Our opponent's kind of locked under our counter magic. Treasure map. I don't think I would even try to counter that. I think that's totally fine. We'll go for a Glimmer of Genius here. See if we can fill up on cards for our extra turns. Fire Prophecy, no. Illumination. Might as well, honestly. It's 1 mana for a draw 2. Yeah. 1 mana for a draw 2 seems good. And then we take whatever the other card is, and pretty happy with that. After that, we untap. We take an extra turn, maybe. Something. I don't know. Who knows? Either way, we took that game pretty easily. And yeah, that's going to do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. And if you did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. It's totally free and fills you with euphoria. So I would highly advise hitting that subscription button. And then, if you want a double dose of that wonderful drug, hit the bell icon so you get notifications when my videos go live in the future. Anyway, guys, hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care, and peace.